Grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, 'cause real women don't bitch. No, real women don't. 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 Real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. Hey, you guys. Welcome back for another episode. Listen, some of my live videos with my guests have been off the freaking chain, or where I've been featured on their page. And so this conversation really got into some things about why white women and black women can't seem to join forces and what it looks like with us working together in the movement. So let's just dig on in. But before we do that, let me go ahead and give a word from our sponsors because I don't want to break this conversation up. Meet Lynn Meyer, author of No More, When Being a Victim of Sexual Abuse is No Longer an Option. Lynn Meyer is a world-class licensed professional counselor specializing in judgment-free therapy since 2003. Her motto is no more excuses. Whether you are dealing with anxiety or depression from trauma experiences, Lynn is committed to helping you break free. If you are ready to heal, restore, or transform, let the healing begin. Contact Lynn Meyer at www.survivingwarriors.org. Again, that is www.survivingwarriors.org.
Each year, over 60,000 children are victimized by sexual abuse. If left untreated, the effects often show up later in life. Here at My Sisters Keepers of Atlanta, we're working so hard to raise awareness, provide education, and prevention of sexual abuse against women and children. If you know someone or you yourself have been victimized, please reach out to us for support. We can be reached at 404-439-9331 or at IAMMYSK.org. My name is Dawn L. Peak, and I am a survivor.
All right, y'all, let's get into it. Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine in D&D. Excited.
Me too.
Why you so excited, girl? No.
Okay, first of all, I love you and I love being around you and just chatting with you and having us together. And I'm excited because you're doing this amazing summit that I'm part of. And I'd love for you just to tell folks about it and your whole vision and all that good stuff.
Well, number one, the feelings are mutual. When we met online, it was sparks flying immediately, and it's funny, right? Because you were like, man, we should do something together.
we didn't really know what that something was going to be though. But now here we
Right.
are. And this is a moment in history personally, to me. The summit, is originally under my brand Authentic Collective, which the Authentic Collective is all about the universal concept of healing, togetherness, and all of that stuff. And so I originally started off with this whole thing about, let me help my sisters heal, let me help my sisters heal. Now, mind you, universally, I do believe that we're all connected, but I was specifically, speaking about my Black sisters. And so I knew that eventually I would bring in other women of color, that I would bring in my white sisters. I knew I'd bring in Black men, but it just feels like God said, no, you do it now. And so men started teaming up. And then when you signed up for the summit, I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be an interesting one. I've done summits before, and I've had Black, white, and different all across the globe, Asia, Africa, Australia, Germany. But the fact that the focus was making sure that energy was put on what's needed specifically for healing in the Black community and dealing with women and having to make that adjustment was something that just organically happened. And so I think it's important for us to get over some racial barriers by, number one, having it in a space where we're going to talk about what we're going through and making sure that we're not putting race over trauma. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times, I mean, my thing is this: if a child is, raped, you will deal with that differently than you will with a woman. And so some of the injustices and traumas that Black people have dealt with, we may have to deal with them differently. But when you all have dealt with those same things too, they shouldn't be minimized or disregarded just because, oh, well, we in America and you white mofos, and that's what you have going on. And so
Mhm.
realizing that that's part of our issue with healing, holding on to resentment and anger from the generations that have come, is a really touchy conversation that a lot of Black people don't want to have. And so we spent more time on your personal trauma, but it was a blessing to incorporate some of the racial stuff that was in the middle of that. And so for people that are watching, I think it's important, if you really, really want to heal, I think that this year has really amplified the racial tension to a whole nother degree. And so
Absolutely.
so this is why she's here with us, people. And I know that was a long answer, to your question, but I really want people to understand and know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, it's been really, really important to discuss matters of racial injustice. And I see so many what's really bothered me is white spiritual women just kind of glossing it over, this whole high vibe and everything's great and the spiritual bypassing, which I was like, no, as a spiritual entrepreneur, I feel it's my duty to talk about racial injustice. It is my absolute duty, and being silent is aligning with the oppressor, essentially. Natasha's here. Hey, Natasha.
Hey, Natasha.
She's like, we should minimize the traumas of others because of their difference in culture and race. I love that. So I'm just super honored to be part of this and to really look at, as women, what are our commonalities we struggle with: anxiety, depression, so many other things, not knowing how to really put ourselves first and take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
These are things that all women experience as mothers, as wives, as women. I'm really learning that we can't just keep giving to the point of our mental breakdowns and our health breakdowns,
Absolutely.
So that's a common thread too. So
Yeah, and I want to respond to something else that you said too. And and unfortunately, I will say that I do feel you, that personally it is more of a commonality, especially with the high vibe spiritual crowd of, oh, well, you attracted this to you, that's what you wanted, or or you just have to think positive, and everything will change, knowing good and doggone well that everything that exists because of contrast. Without contrast, there's no there's no ability to even differentiate, one from the other. And so to just ignore it and to pretend like it's not there is one of the actually most insensitive things you could do. It shows that you have absolutely no compassion. And doing this summit for the last several years has definitely tuned me up and toned me down, even with the way that I've dealt with people and clients, because of hearing so many stories and then acknowledging the fact that we all didn't just come here with those superpowers of positivity and mental mindsets, being on a high and being top producers. That's not the way that we're brought up. We are all brought up in this world where the vast majority of us are put into a machine and we're just a cog, and you play your role and you go to school and you know what good conduct is and what so-called professionalism is. But even with all of that being said, even in the Black community, one of my biggest issues is that high vibe, that being on that high flying disc mindset is also in the church. Everything you just pray about it, turn it
Yeah.
over to Jesus. You got to forgive, and even some scare tactics like, if you don't forgive, then God is not going to forgive you either. And so, I mean, whichever way you turn, especially for us in the Black community, it's like, well, where do we go? If we're tired and we're suffering from church hurt and we've been beat up by our own, and then we try to go and try something different, and then you're insensitive to us, and then you say that you just not thinking correctly, that both parties have a lot of, irresponsibility in dealing with this issue. And so for me, I want people to have access to a resource where they're working on their healing individually, but then we're also working on our healing collectively. And the power in telling your story is one of the most effective things that we're all taught to do. You're taught to tell your story in business. People tell their story on TV shows, but we're not just telling our stories. We're also talking about the triumphs and the ways that we came over. And like you said too, we're looking at the same things, the overgiving, the doing too much, the thinking that you have to be the nurturer, you have to be this certain kind of woman. That often comes from our upbringing and some very traumatic experiences of watching our mothers, our grandmothers, and our aunts slave and do more than what they were supposed to do in a relationship because it was a cultural norm.
Right.
So, yeah.
So true. Bah, I mean, that's like, you just said it all. I'm like, just sitting here like, I don't even have a response because I'm just like, yes, yes, yes.
Well, I know that, for your people that are watching, I know that a lot of emphasis has been put on, I know you have a myriad of friends from all different types of backgrounds. And I always emphasize the fact that the summit is not just for us. I mean, at the end of the day, healing principles are universal. But it's just the point that the way that the summit has been orchestrated, you have to jive with a melanated vibe. That's really what it all pretty much boils down to. And so, it's, to me, it doesn't even seem like it should be necessary to say it. But if there are some white people that are watching and you kind of sort of want to be a part of the conversation, you want to understand us better, you want to begin to do the work, but you have some reservations because maybe you tried prematurely and you said the wrong thing and my sister Kendra blasted you because what you mean by that? And you think like, wait a minute, I'm listening to this woman and this area may be safe, but damn, why does she keep saying like that? Why does she keep putting emphasis on Black, or why does she keep putting emphasis on melanin? What a lot of you all don't realize is that you don't have to put emphasis on shit. You just do. I've worked in corporate America in different periods of my life. And so I knew if there was a Christmas event when I was working for HR in Mercantile Bank, that when I went there, I was going to be hearing songs, just take a look at me now. It's such an empty. I knew I was going, I knew what songs I was going to have to sing. And I knew, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. I got it all knocked out. I got it. You know what I'm saying? And so this is one of the reasons why when we talk about code switching, that they talk about how brilliant we are at, transitioning but that's what we've had to do, you know, all the way since back whenever. You weren't like, okay, you know, let's make sure we put the Temptations in there and put their song in there. You didn't do those things. So you just did whatever culturally was what you liked. You weren't going around and just, if you had one Asian person that worked in the corporation, making sure that you had the kind of music that they wanted to listen to. And so you guys have done this all your lives. You've created things, and maybe, you know, you have a token black person, and maybe you have that one black song that kind of every white person loves. But then after that, that's it. And it ain't even our jam. It's not even our favorite song necessarily, but we'll be so happy that you finally played something that we can vibe to. And so,
and it's probably Mariah Carey, like, what's the Mariah Carey?
Oh, Lord. Yeah, you know, something like that. So
Yeah.
it's been a norm for us to go into a place and know that it's going to be a white vibe. And the point, there's nothing wrong with that, because trust me, I grew up. I love me some Huey Lewis and the News, Fleetwood Mac, but I also love me some Jeezy, Tupac, and some Snoop Dogg. I also played in the classical. I played in full orchestra. I played in jazz lab. I'm culturally diverse. But more often than not, when we see these events, there's an illusion that if you see an event and there's a whole lot of white people on there, it's for the whole fucking world. If you see an event and it's a whole bunch of black people, it's for black people. Well, if that's your bias, you're gonna miss out. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, and I say this with very little disrespect, but at the same time, our trauma is so deep and so heavy because of the continuous suffering that we endure. I tell people all the time, if you want to learn how to heal or you want to learn how to persevere, do it from a black person, because it is a constant state of living. So you'll miss out if you don't sign up, but don't sign up because you're nosy, because you definitely, oh God, I'm so raw and so real, you will be so uncomfortable that you can't be there. But yeah, I don't want to be too long-winded, but I wanted to put that out there too.
Well, and I think we white women need to listen to black women. Like, I feel like that's like what needs to happen, is just sometimes just don't talk and just listen and learn. And this is a perfect opportunity for that, just to listen and learn.
Yeah, and you know, and that part right there, I mean, it's good for them, but I mean, think about it. We're even doing it for us, because we have,
for sure.
You know, but it's just good to just listen, period. You know, and so, like you said, but if we're having to sometimes be quiet and listen to each other, then surely an outsider would have to, you know, need to sit down and just listen as well, because we have our own cultural disparities. We have our own issues. We still have to realize that we don't necessarily observe each other all the same. You know, there are a lot of black women now that kind of, they gravitate to me because of my blue hair. There are some that still kind of look like, okay, is she professional or is she ghetto? And it's like, oh, I'm highly professional, darling. All you have to do is work with me to see that I do not play. But I still get stereotypes because of colored hair. But I do that intentionally because I never want authenticity to be questioned. And so we are learning that the black experience is not the same for everybody either. Some of my speakers, they weren't white, but they weren't black enough. Like, what the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? And so we've got a lot of ish to deal with. And so not that you guys have to come in and feel afraid and not to speak, but it's kind of like being stuck in the house when you see a mother and a daughter arguing and you happen to be the friend of the daughter. And you want to say something to try to calm things down, but you have to allow them to flush their shit out. And then maybe afterwards, maybe you say something to the friend or something like that. It's like understanding and recognizing the time and the place. I feel like that's the biggest thing that a lot of women, white women with good intention, that they don't realize. They always want to jump in. They always want to have something to say. They always want to save the day. And you shared a video that I did a while back, and it was a video about a woman who didn't even know the details about George Floyd, but she's like, we need to get out there. We need to be doing something. I'm like, well, what the fuck are you going to do? Because you don't even know what to demand, because you don't even know the facts. You don't even know why this is so sensitive to us. So you listen for your empathetic ear not to come in and control and patrol, or to, not that you can't give advice, but you have to sit in it first. Sit in it and dialogue. I tell people all the time, if someone reveals something to you and you go from if your gut reaction is to begin to give solutions, you're unauthorized to help. Because anybody that truly wants to help, no matter how compelling the story is, no matter what facts have been laid out, will always begin with questions, because you need to allow yourself to tap into that wisdom to get a level of clarity that a person naturally is going to leave out when they have a bias to their sensitivity when they're telling their story. And so if you can't come in and listen and learn, that's where you'll be like, see, this doesn't work. We can't seem to come together as a race. It's like, no, you have to learn how to communicate better. And the first step of communication is to hear, to listen.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can have a good time.
Woo!
Look, I'm ready.
You said it all. I just don't have anything to add. I mean, you're just 100%.
Well, I want to just thank you again, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, you were fine. You've been fine in the group. And of course, the ladies are going to receive you with love. But I know what it looks like to be on the other side. I'm like the only black person. She like, I'm the only white person, you know. And so we got some men. It's like just a handful of men. But I like to cultivate environments. So don't get it twisted, you guys. I like to cultivate environments where there's true community, there's true acceptance, there's true love. And there's an expression that says if the head is sick, the whole body is sick. So leading from the top down, the culture, the expectation has to be there. And if it's not, you guys have to realize that even with my speech, I ain't got no bias. Unfortunately, during the trial period, I had to let a couple of speakers go because it's like, no, you don't realize how serious this is. This is not a photo op. This is not a freebie to be on a platform to get recognition or to be seen. You will have to be knee deep in wanting to do this work and really being concerned. And so if you're not concerned about people, if you don't lead with love, then you can't be a part of this. So I'm raw and I'm very real, but I'm very much full of compassion and love. So I just want you to come, listen to Kristen, listen to us, get involved, because we are serious about what we're doing. And she was very vulnerable, very transparent with her story. And she beyond met the expectations, and she's just been a phenomenal friend since I met her on Facebook. So click the link. It's free. You get to try it before you buy it, but you should really get your all access pass because the benefits are through the freaking roof. Not because I said it's valued at over 2K. No, because real heart, real thought about what you all need as an attendee was put into what you're going to get. You've never experienced anything else like this with a summit, I promise you. But the only way to know is to come in and see, and you can see for free.
And I just have to say, August, you are like the standards that you set in your professionalism, your expectations, your work ethic. It's like just phenomenal.
Thank you.
Like you just set the standard, and the graphics and all the work you put into this. It's just like exceptional. So I'm just so honored to be a part of it and in your space. And Stacy's here, Natasha's here, Candy's here, all these ladies who are in the summit with us, and they're just totally resonating with everything that we're talking about. So yeah, I'll put the link below for you to join for free access. I think I can't remember the exact time, but I go on my our session is December 12th, I think at 3.
I can't I look, it's 35 of you guys, I can't remember.
With like over 30 speakers, but I'll put it below.
Yes.
And yeah, like August said, you don't just have to, it's not just for all of us to share and to grow and to learn together in this movement.
Yes, so we gonna let you all be free. And for those of you that got some time, you can follow me because I'm gonna go live again. I got some stuff to get off my chest. So follow.
Always has so much to share and to say. You never like have a lack of words.
Ooh, but when I do, oh God, it's like it's weird. So I love you. I will see you again soon. Everybody, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you later.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did, and that you walked away enlightened
and a little bit convicted. So head on over to www.augustcrenshaw.com, click the Worthy tab, and get your free pass to the No More Trauma Summit.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. Signing out. Deuces.
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, 'cause real women don't bitch. No, real women don't. Real